Hello everybody! So today I'm back and today I'm going to be doing my to be read for May. So I'm being a little bit more cautious this month because there's a few things I've not got yet that I'm going to need to slot in. So I'm going to need to slot in a book club book which I've not purchased yet. So that's got to go in there as well. And I want to leave a little bit of lee room to add in things as I find them over the month. So I will probably read more than what I've got in my pile. But for now this is the stuff I know I definitely want to read this month. And as ever, it's quite a random mix, but actually this is one of the most sci-fi heavy months I've had for quite a while. It used to be the main genre I read, but for the past few months and past year or so, I've actually branched out a lot, but this month I feel like I'm returning to my roots. But without further ado, I'll get straight down to what I'm reading for May. So my fiction fix for the month is going to be Douglas Coupland's Player One. So this is one of my second-hand bookshop delights. And I'd heard a lot about Douglas Coupland before. I think he's an author that really fits with the kind of things I like to read and the style of writing I like in my general fiction. And this is a really interesting concept for a book. It's essentially about a group of people that are trapped in an airport during some kind of unknown disaster for 5 continuous hours, and the narrative has no time gaps, no breaks, is a continuous 5 hours, and that's a really clever concept because I know I used to watch quite a lot of TV programmes that were kind of real time, like 24 for example, and always really liked that as a narrative style and never really came across it in a book until this. So I've got high hopes for this. I'm optimistic to see what it's like and I think I'm going to really enjoy it. Now, what would a to be read by me be without some manga? So this month it's Assassination Classroom. So again, this isn't one I know much about. My colleagues at work have really recommended this to me. Apparently it's really nice art, it's a really clever concept. And I mean, just from the covers, you can tell it stands out a lot from other mangas, which have got quite busy covers. This is very much just an in-your-face kind of pow, and I'm looking forward to reading it. There will probably be more manga that's slotted in over the course of the month, because I always seem to have a payday stock-up of manga and get straight into it, but I think I'll read some more Death Note, and what I've been doing with manga is reading a lot of firsts and new series, until I can find the ones I really want to read and proceed to read the rest of those. So I think having read about 7 or 8 kind of volume 1s by this point, I'm going to really start narrowing down on the series I want to complete and start reading some of them. So you can expect that to go in there this month along with Assassination Classroom. So next up is somewhat of a sci-fi fantasy classic, Colour of Magic by Terry Pratchett. So I have read this book about 4 times in the past. It's one of the few books I've reread. And obviously since Terry Pratchett's unfortunate passing, I've had a real craving to restart the Discworld series. And when this collection came in at work, these lovely, lovely editions, I knew I was going to have to start collecting them. So this is the first I've got, and I'm going to try and read them kind of one a month for the next few months or so and see how far I get. But I know I've always really enjoyed Discworld, I've always found them really funny. They're quite a unique take on kind of a fantasy style of writing. And I feel like I really want to pay some tribute to Terry Pratchett because he's a fantastic author. He's really influenced generations and generations of people, and I can't wait to delve back into this world that he's created. I'm also going to read The Peripheral. So another book I'm going to read this month is The Peripheral by William Gibson. So William Gibson is a real master of technological sci-fi, things to do with computers and the internet, things like the Neuromancer book which he wrote, which is a real genre-defining title. This is one I saw in hardback and never thought to pick up, and in paperback I've decided to take the plunge and I think I'm going to love it. It's about a guy called Flynn Fisher who's paid to essentially play games for rich people and grind for gear and gold and that kind of stuff. He gets told to play this one game set in a futuristic version of London and sees a death in this game, and it all feels a bit weird and too real. And then Flynn finds out that this future he's seeing isn't actually a game, it's real. So it's a real interesting concept of the borders between reality and virtual reality, and it's that exact kind of technical / real border that I like to hover around in my fiction. I think this is going to be perfect for that. Sounds like it's going to be similar to things like Ready Player One, which I absolutely adored, and I'm really looking forward to giving this a read. It's quite a lot thicker than I always expected it was going to be, but I think I'm going to really enjoy it, and that's probably going to be one of the first ones I read this month, just because it sounds perfect for me. And of course, as anyone who's been watching my videos for a while now will know, my to be read wouldn't be complete without some more interesting non-fiction. So I've actually got a really good selection this month. Firstly is a book called Flash Boys. So this isn't my normal kind of thing. It's a bit more economicsy than I normally go for. I normally like kind of anatomical or scientific non-fiction. But this is meant to be fantastic. It's about a group of guys in America who essentially scammed the investment system. It's called high frequency trading, and essentially they were able to find out from the banks just before things happened what changes were going to happen to the stock market, and made a hell of a lot of money by not really ethical means. And Michael Lewis is a really fantastic, smart thinking writer who makes things really readable, much like John Ronson can do, for example. And I'm looking forward to reading this. I've kind of got a bit of a growing interest in economics at the minute from other things I've read that have touched on it in the political reading I've been doing, and I'm looking forward to giving that a go. Having just said that I do quite often enjoy reading anatomical and scientific non-fiction, I've got an anatomical and scientific non-fiction book for the month. So this is called Adventures in a Human Being by a guy called Gavin Francis, and this was advertised at work as this was a free copy that I'd been sent by the publisher. And as soon as I saw it, I knew it was going to be the exact kind of book I'd like. What it does in this book is ties together concepts of anatomy from throughout history, which I've studied a lot in my degree, with real life kind of patient interactions that the author and other physicians have had. And that's like a fascinating concept to me. It combines history and medical and anatomical non-fiction, which I read a ton of, with like things like Do No Harm and Being Mortal, which I still think is the best non-fiction I've ever read. This just seemed perfect for me, and I cannot wait to read this. Literally, like, it came in the post a couple of days ago, and I've been itching to pick it up ever since. So, looking forward to giving this a read, and I think I'm going to absolutely adore this. There you've got it. That's my to be read for May. Really interesting month. As I've said, there will be other stuff that's slotted in, but I'm not quite sure what it is yet. I do like to leave a little bit of wiggle room to see what I want to read. Really interesting mix. Really looking forward to getting cracking on reading, and I'm hopeful I'm going to have a really good month for it this month. As always, if you've read any of these books, got any opinions on things I should read in the coming months, I'm always after suggestions, and it is looking a little bit dry the next couple of months in terms of what I want to read. So if you've got any suggestions, that would be massively appreciated. Leave them down below in the comments. As always, please leave a like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it, and I'm going to put my Twitters and Goodreads down below as well, so give me a follow on there. And other than that, I'll be back in the next week or so. I definitely want to do this video on YouTubers and books and what I think about it, and I've got quite a lot to say on that, so we're hopefully looking forward to a bit of engagement with you guys on that one as well. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.